G'day traders, welcome to wrap up the market for Tuesday the 5th of November. So we've got a little bit more action, a little bit more price action today. So before we get into it, let's look at the 15-minute chart. So today we've come down and we've tested this significant, real pivotal point in the market. This area here, this 1752, it's a little bit of a thicker line. We've highlighted it a bit over the last sort of week plus and just signified how, while the market's above it, it really signifies that they're in control. And to be wary of the buyers, and for the sellers to sort of get any momentum or direction or show signs that they're sort of gaining some control. They really need to get underneath this area and hold and then push lower from it, which they haven't been able to do. And today they've come down and really rushed down to it and then got a bounce straight off it, and we'll look at that soon. But you can see within this particular day that there's three major support and resistance areas that we're looking at. Now these areas are all marked in before we start the day. They're already predetermined, and we're always talking about them leading into the day, also referring to them throughout the day within the trading room, and talking about how they might affect the market. And basically what's happened, just to sort of look at this on the longer term also, is when we talked about this market being in a bit of a channel at the moment, it's really continuing within this channel. So it might look a bit chaotic at time, but the fact is, if you're drawing in these support and resistance areas, these major horizontal areas, which are fairly easy to identify. You just look at an area where the market's just sort of respecting a price multiple times. You mark those in. You can see the market pretty uniformly keeps within these areas quite well, and sort of we've got that structure to be able to sort of see that and give us guidance when we're trading these markets. So that's those three areas here marked on the charts. As far as providing structure, we also do this with this particular box here, what we call the pre-market box or the power box. And what we do is we mark the significant high and low point from 8 till 10 o'clock. In this particular case, it's a bit of an interesting one. We've got a significant low point here, which is quite easy, right at about 10 o'clock. As far as a high point, you sort of go back. There's no significant high point. It's just sort of come down. There's nothing you can pick out of that. Okay, so for then we've got to look for a high point back into the open market, and again it's up, not until up here that we get it. Okay, so because what I'm looking for is at least a 3-point pullback, and I keep it very structured, very much to the rules. So here we've got nearly 3, a bit short of 3 points, so can't count it there. Wait for it, we get it up here, pull back there. So that's well and truly into the day. But the fact is, I look for that as far as structure within the market, and then its potential areas to be able to trade as well. And we'll talk about that as we move on through the day. So as far as opening up, you can see we're sitting right on this major support resistance area, and it sort of showed we're hovering around it, bouncing. It wasn't really sure what it wanted to do. If you sort of glance your eyes across the other markets, you can see at this stage here, there's a bit of conflict. You can see the top left-hand market, what we call the Russell, really starting to strike down, whereas the Nasdaq, bottom left-hand corner, certainly not getting that same sort of sellers. If anything, they're really trying to punch a little bit higher. So we didn't have this confluence from other markets. It really says, be wary. In the end, what happened is these markets came down and sort of followed the Russell's lead to where they came to this major support resistance area, and we're watching this closely. And the fact is, the market came running down here with a whole heap of speed and momentum, and then all of a sudden what we saw is it got a couple of ticks through the area, but it just bounced with such significance. And all the markets, you can see bottom left hand corner and the Russell here as well, all at that exact same minute, we're getting this major bounce off the area, and you can see the buyers just coming back and taking control immediately. Very significant. Then all of a sudden they start pushing up higher. These sort of power fades is certainly potential if you're seeing other markets breaking up high and you can see a change in direction, areas holding, and the market likely to sort of head back, sort of looking to power fade the upside. Certainly warrants having a go at those sort of areas. If it's of course everything needs to be done within a system or within structure. Okay, and so the market at this stage continues to push higher. And momentum and direction is very much on the upside here. No sort of significant pullbacks any stage until we get to this lunchtime period up here. Okay, once we did get there, here's this also, we've got the significant high point. We've got at least a 3-point pullback. Then as far as it coming back, if it comes back at these boxes, what I look for is either breakout or continuation through the box, or what we call mean reversion, where it looks to hold at the edges and go back within the range. This particular day, you can see it's happened very late, but it's come up, it's held at the edges, and it's come back 4 or 5 points within the range. Okay, something again, we're constantly making reference to this, is looking at the other markets. And it's if I get to, here it is here. So here's the Russell. So looking at the Russell, you can see that it's pulling back, and as it's coming back at the highs, it's really holding off. Again, let me squash it a bit more so you can see it. Grab my pencil. There's that high. It's never come anywhere near breaking through, so it's showing signs of potentially reverting back within the range. However, and I look at both these markets to give you the full picture. Here's that same area. Let me grab the pencil again. On the Nasdaq, and you see the Nasdaq has broken up through it. Not with any major significance, but it certainly has. So what I'd call that is a bit of a neutral market. You got one market showing signs going back down, one market showing signs of going up. Okay, sometimes you get that. Most of the times they'll be both on the same page. If you can see both markets really indicating a direction, that's what you want to see, and that really gives you the confirmation to go ahead with any trading areas. And you can use this in anything you do within trading these markets. It's the powerful thing about this particular market that we trade. We've got other markets like the Nasdaq and the Russell that we can use to give an indication or a lead as to where the market might be going. Now, there's times when, like I say, at the beginning of the day and towards the end of the day, maybe they're a bit conflicting or they're a little bit neutral. So there's nothing to take out of it there, but there's certainly times within the day when both markets are giving real strong indications of what's happening, and if you can use that within your trading, it's a powerful thing, and something that a lot of other markets or trading markets don't have. That ability to be able to do that and utilize these markets, which are very multiple markets which are very closely related. So it's a good thing for us. So as far as a wrap up, you can see again signifying that this major support and resistance area is certainly holding. Buyers are in control. They've got a really good bounce off it, and from there now the buyers are getting back some control. Not getting back control, I should say holding the control that they already had, and really confirming their dominance. So anyway, we'll keep an eye on that area to see what the market wants to do around there, and take it from there. So that's a wrap up for Tuesday, and we'll be back on Wednesday.